All right, so this is going to be a quick rundown on how to use the Serial Oscilloscope program, which is available for free from XIO Technologies. If you come here, they have a little description of how to use it, and I'm going to basically take you through that myself. Download the zip file, unzip, install, all of that good stuff. I have this example sketch that I got from GitHub somewhere, and it's just a basic analog read sketch. So I have a potentiometer connected to the analog pin on an Arduino Mega, and if I run this sketch and we look at the serial monitor, we will see that I get a display of a voltage reading when I turn the potentiometer between 0 and 5 volts. An interesting thing that I just noticed in this description here is that there is also an interesting tool available in the Arduino IDE called the serial plotter. I'd never seen this before, but it's actually pretty similar to what we're going to do with the serial oscilloscope. Obviously, I'm twisting the knob on the potentiometer here. You have to close this real quick. I'll take a look at the serial oscilloscope. As a side note, I'm only using the USB jack on the USB jack on the Arduino Mega. There are ways to use multiple serial ports, but we're just using a single one at this point. In the serial oscilloscope program, find your COM terminal, check your baud rate, and we have a serial monitor very similar to that exists in the Arduino IDE. Turn on the scope, and we have a plotter. Excellent. The key thing that we want to use here, though, is the log to file option, which you can start. Save a file somewhere and collect some data. Stop. We'll come in here, take a look at the data. It saves automatically to a CSV file, which is great because you can then take that file and convert it into other useful things, or just use it that because CSV is often pretty useful. And just to take a look, this is clearly the data that I just collected from my little knob turns. Pretty cool. Very useful in a number of ways. You can actually get 3 channels, and I'll show you how to do that real quick just for the sake of education, I guess. Go and comment this line out here. And I'm just going to skip to the 3-channel one. The format, the serial print function, obviously just makes a single value, sends a single value on the serial monitor or serial lines. If you do another print with a comma, then you're doing your CSV maneuver. This is a comma separated value. There's one value here. There's another value here. This could be from another analog pin or some other pin where you're collecting data on the microcontroller. I'm just using one pin and I'm making up some faux values, but value, comma, value, comma, and a print line because the print line does the return carriage that you need to use for the serial port, for the serial oscilloscope to work. So now we see we have 3 values coming through on the monitor, and we have 3 traces on the scope. It's a little bit difficult to see the blue one on the black screen, but that's what's happening. So I'm gonna run another save file just to take a look at that. Take a look. You'll notice that there are 9 columns here. It's actually saving data from things that are not actually being fed to it. You could call it saving data. And there's our 3 traces that we were just looking at. So as I mentioned before, you need to I'm only using one serial port. It's just the USB jack of the Arduino Mega. And if you wanted to use the serial monitor to upload programs at the same time that you are monitoring the values that are being printed out, you would need something like an FTDI board like this, which is just another chip for running serial communications through a USB device. And you can attach these pins to one of the other ports on the Mega, or you can make use of the software serial library to create an extra serial port on some digital pins. And yeah, I think that that's about it. I guess I was going to point out that while we have the monitor running here, if I try to upload a program, I'm going to get an error message because I'm only using a single port associated with the USB jack on the Arduino Mega. And that would be the reason why, if you wanted to do this and maybe use the kind of functions, if you had some program where you could type in values on a serial port and send it to adjust the function of your controller, whatever the program runs, then you would need more than one serial port operating at the same time. You would need one of those FTDI boards. All right, I hope that helps. Thanks. Bye.